And we have another critter. I got one more after this one I'd like to do today. I'm going to do another amphibian. Amphibians, the word amphibian to me means double life, land and water. Typically, you start your life in the water. Typically, you return to the water to have your babies. Though in the animal world, there is always an exception to the rule. But this one does spend a lot of time in the water. This one might be hard for us to see. It's going to stay in the container for the bulk of it. I'll see if I bring it out. But this is called a pixie frog or an African bullfrog. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So this is a young one. This little guy or girl, it's too young for me to tell yet, is going to get big. If this is a girl, she might be the size of this container when she's done growing. If this is a boy, he might be 2, maybe even 3 times bigger than the container. Males are huge. And this animal lives in the grasslands in Africa. It spends a fair amount of its life during, a year, buried underground as the heat and lack of precipitation is bad for most amphibians. But they would bury themselves deep in where ponds used to be, or like little water holes or things like that. Once it feels the rainy season coming, it breaks out of its skin cocoon that it makes to keep the moisture inside of its body, digs to the surface, and they start to eat, and they want to breed right away. They want to have their babies as quick as possible to ensure that the water in their ponds is around so the eggs can metamorphose, hatch, turn into tadpoles, and then they can grow up into adults. I've had these in the past, and I've had a fairly big boy and an average-sized girl. The boy was Jeremiah, because he's a bullfrog, and I guess he was a good friend of mine. But this animal is a voracious eater that's going to eat anything it can fit into its mouth. Right now, being its size, not very big, it eats bugs like crickets. The bigger they get, the bigger foods they can take. They'll eat fish, they eat mice and other frogs, so they are cannibalistic if they eat other frogs. But the dads of this animal might be up for Dad of the Year. Once the girls lay the eggs, the boy guards them, and he will literally lunge at other animals coming down to the local watering hole to get a drink, and he guards the babies. He will actually at times even open his mouth to let the baby swim in so he can maybe move them away. And I actually saw a neat video once in the savanna grasslands that the dad knew that the water hole was going to evaporate in this hot sun of the African, savanna grasslands. He put his head down and he acted like a bulldozer to create a deeper hole for the water to sit in. Because if the water is spread out thinly, it'll evaporate quicker. If it's deeper, it'll last a bit longer. That gives their babies a better chance of survival. And I never let anyone ever touch or hold my amphibians, and that's for the amphibian safety. All amphibians drink water and breathe air through their skin. So if you ever touch your fingers, they're typically dry, but they're oily. We would actually hurt their skin. I kind of like to say plug their skin up, then they can't drink or breathe. And we know that's a bad thing for them because they will end up passing away. But amphibians typically are secretive. They hide and camouflage. Most are good at hopping away. Some are very bad at hopping away. This guy would be average. He can't swim though. But all amphibians are poisonous. They can make poison come out of their skin so they taste bad. Some amphibians are the most poisonous animals on Earth. And if you eat them, you're going to pass away or get really sick. So I think that's kind of a neat defense. And like I said, I don't know. I hope it'll be a boy because it'll be really big. And I'll know by size and if the male croaks or rivets. Males vocalize to attract a girlfriend. Girls can make sounds, but rarely do they, because it's the boys that needing to attract the girls. The boys already like all the girls. The girls only like the guys that sound good. So I hope you guys enjoy meeting this new little addition, and I will do one more for you today.